Is Boris Johnson going to pull off the Brexit? That's what I'm talking about today using astrology. I'm Thor Sandalwood, and we're looking at Boris Johnson's astrology chart to see that if this Brexit deal is going to be pushed through or what. Now, as an American myself, I've been loosely following the Brexit thing, and it seems like it's been going on for quite a while, and there's been a lot of back and forth with they voted for Brexit a few years back, but then they can't somehow pull off Brexit, and there's a lot of infighting about this Brexit thing. But Boris Johnson has come out that he's Mr. Brexit, and he's going to push this Brexit deal through. So Boris Johnson, we have his birth date, June 19th, 1964, and born at 2 p.m. And I found that on an astrological database where they had an A rating, so that's a good rating. The only better rating is a AA rating, which would be like we actually have the birth certificate, posted online. But A is like this number 2 rating, so I said it's good enough to just do an analysis on. Boris Johnson is a Virgo. That's where his ascendant is. And Virgos tend to be very, it's ruled by the planet Mercury. They're very thoughtful people, they could be very critical people and very verbose people, since Gemini is all about communication, talking, speech, writing. I mean, Mercury is the Karaka planet for all that kind of things. And his Mercury is in the 9th house. This is interesting. So his first lord is in the 9th house, which, 9th house is God's grace. It's known as a trine house. Very good house. A house of Dharma. And Mercury is there with Mars. So Mercury is like the impressionable teenager that he'll like follow the planet that's right next to him. Mercury and Mars would be somebody who's like very outspoken, very aggressive in their speech. Like he would be a good debater, a good person with arguing. And I'm pretty sure, I didn't see that when he got elected, how that election went, but I'm pretty sure that he was up there just, talking his truth and demanding things. And yeah, there were probably conservative elements that loved it. Conservative people always love those kind of people. And that's how Donald Trump got elected in the US, is he came out with this, and he says these very absurd and crazy things, and people just love it. So I'm not necessarily going to do a whole chart reading for Boris Johnson, because what we really want to look at is the specific situation with, is the Brexit going to happen anytime soon, or is this thing going to just keep being delayed over and over and over for the next, who knows, maybe the Brexit never goes through because they can just never make a deal. One thing I will say, he's got Sun, Venus, and Rahu all in the 10th house of Gemini in his chart. That kind of combination shows why this man is prime minister. You never see someone get to a high political position with like no planets in the 10th house or the 1st house. With all the politicians' charts I've studied where they actually got elected, became president and a prime minister, there's always planets like in the 10th house or the 1st house. And that's why with some of the candidates in some of the elections, I'm able to see they're probably not going to win because I don't see the planets in those houses. So specifically, I want to look at what Mahadasha and what Bhukti Boris Johnson is in. The Mahadasha is like this longer period of karmic unfoldment. So he's in Mercury Mahadasha, which I believe is 17 years long, if I go off of memory. So that's a long period. We can't really make a prediction about that with just Mercury. However, if we narrow in, he's in Mercury Mahadasha K2 Bhukti, which is the smaller time period. So he entered the K2 Bhukti in February of 2019. So that was earlier this year. And he's going to be in K2 Bhukti until December 13th, 2019. Okay, so we want to clue into that. Okay, so I do want to know about Mercury. And like I said with you guys, Mercury is the planet of speech, communication. It's in the 9th house, so there is some grace happening with this period. It's the lord of his 1st house, which is very good. That's how I think he's able to win this election to become prime ministers, his first lord is activated, which is Mercury. It's with Mars. Mars gives you that toughness, that directness that you need to cut through things. So Mercury's being activated and it's with Mars. So Mars is also being joined in that energy there. But K2's in the 4th house. And that's what period we're in right now. K2 is the planet of apathy and disconnection. It could be the planet that cuts off things, but usually it's more in a personal nature. I don't see it being like the countries being cut off from the European Union as much as just K2, like there's some sense of personal, something's being cut off with Boris. Maybe there's an expectation. He thought he was going to go in there and change things right away, and he's realizing it's a lot more complicated than that with politics. Because I believe I just saw the news report today as of October 20th that Boris Jonson was pushing it back, the whole Brexit deal thing. And he said we were going to do it right away, no deal Brexit. It's just we were just going to basically cut it off. So I see it more as him being in the K2 Bukti kind of is more like he's ineffective right now. He can't do anything. He's kind of just at the mercy of all these people and politicians and powers that be. But it's October right now. The K2 Bukti only goes till February of 2020. We got to look at where's he going to be in after this K2 Bukti. On February 2nd, 2020, Boris Johnson enters Mercury Venus period. And he's going to be in that Venus period till 2022. So almost about 2 years. He's going to be in this Mercury Venus period. Okay, so we're looking at the Mercury Venus now. Now, this kind of actually gives me, I believe that the Brexit is going to take place during this period, between February 2020 and 2022. So that's October of 2022. So that's a pretty big period right there. I believe that after December or during 2020, we'll probably see the Brexit go through. And the reason why is if I look at where Venus is, Venus in his chart, it's in the 10th house. And it's Lord of Taurus, the 9th house, and it's Lord of Libra, the 2nd house. But here's the deal. The planets that are within Venus's houses are also being activated. So again, Mars is being activated. You know, he's already a Mercury Mahadasha with Mars, so it's already has that Mars influence going on. Then Venus is activating the 9th house and the 2nd house and the planets within those houses. Mars is there in the 9th house. Mars is the planet that tends to destroy things. If the planet that rules knives is Mars, spears. So it goes out and destroys things. What's interesting, so I had that thought when I was looking at this. Then I look out further, Mars is in a nakshatra called Kritika. And Kritika means the razor. And what do we do with razors? We cut things, okay? So the action of cutting off, that's the Brexit. You're cutting off this political relationship that you had with the European Union. So I believe that's why we're looking at after December, probably during 2020, the Brexit's going to go through. Also with this, Libra, his 2nd house is being activated when he's in this Venus Bukti, okay? The 2nd house, when someone's going through a 2nd house period, it can represent a period of potential divorce. So when I look at the Brexit thing, it's almost like the United Kingdom is divorcing the European Union. And the reason it's a divorce house is because it's known as a saturation house. When a relationship has hit a certain amount of saturation, it ends. And so I believe that the Brexit is going to go through, but it's not going to be in the next couple months. It's going to probably be delayed a little bit till after Christmas and Christmas of 2019 and all these things. We'll probably see the Brexit. And it's probably going to be a hard Brexit because I see all these things about things getting cut off, and it might be a shock to a lot of people. Also, if you guys remember from some of my other videos, if you guys watch my Rahu and Ardra video, Rahu right now is transiting Gemini, and it's in a nakshatra called Ardra from now and all the way until April of 2020. And we know that this Rahu Ardra transit, there's been crazy things that have happened in history during this transit. For example, 9/11 happened during the transit. JFK was assassinated when Rahu was in Ardra back in 1963. and that transit's happening right now all the way till April of 2020. So definitely we are in a mega change time zone. So the Brexit happening and just all types of crazy world events happening where there's basically a restructuring of the world order, so to speak, is definitely in full gear right now. So that's all I have to say about this, guys. What do you guys think? Comment down below, and please smash that like button if you like my video, and subscribe. And I'll be coming out with even more predictions and more analyses videos of politicians and all sorts of people. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.